Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to one of the next projects at the lighter side of RC. And like I say, not many days better than delivery day, and boy have we had a lot of deliveries lately. So stay tuned and we will unbox this gigantic Skymaster Hawk. This is going to be a big one. All right guys, so we'll get right to it. This is the Skymaster XXL Hawk. I won't tell you what scheme it's in yet, but this is going to be a fun build. It's going to be starting up here pretty quick, and it's one of the many to be completed this winter. So this build season, let's call it. So anyways, let's start unboxing this thing. I'm not going to flip the box over and cut the tape on the bottom. I'm just going to cut the cardboard itself, and because we're going to be having to get rid of this box anyways. So let's go. Let's bring you in closer for a look. All right, so ooh, just kidding, one more layer. All right, here she is. Oh, just kidding, one more layer. And there we are. So you can see what scheme it is. This is a lot of plane to fit in this box. It's pretty surprising, but cool. So what we'll do is we'll just start unpacking each of these parts individually. We'll start off with the wings, obviously, because we're here with the wings, and we will kind of go through all these parts. All right, so we'll take a look at, this would be the right wing first, and we'll get this guy opened up. All right, so first wing looks good. The size of the gear is ballistic. That is crazy how huge those wheels are. So beautiful looking gear on this. I've actually never seen a I've seen a Skymaster Hawk. I've just never played with one up close. So this is going to be a fun build. So it looks good. Just to give you some perspective, the main wheel size here, those are 6-inch, 150 millimeter wheels. Those are huge. So looks awesome. It's all probably pretty much standard Skymaster stuff. Yep. So looks good. Now, one of the things with this particular kit is, we should put that tape back on there so the gear stays closed. We are going to be installing a Unilight lighting kit on this aircraft, and all the lights are just filled in right now. So we're going to have to do some creative work with reflectors and things like that to get this done well. Okay, we're going to set this wing aside. We'll move on to the next piece. All right, so next thing we just happened to pull out of the box is the canopy. This should be fairly straightforward. This was also inside of a cardboard box. I just didn't show you that part, so Skymaster had it very well protected for shipping. Oh, nice. That's cool. Okay, so this is good. I like that they installed all this detail on here. That's wicked. And one of the things I'm really happy to see is we were wanting to hinge this canopy, and it is already hinged. It looks like side hinge like it should be, and this is the locking side here. So that is good. Very, very nice. All right, so next thing we've got up is the horizontal stab. And of course, this is all one piece, which is typical for this aircraft, if you're not familiar with it. Also really love this red color. This is the same red color that is on the PC-21 that we just finished. And it's beautiful. Just awesome color. So, looks good. Nice and strong. Don't suggest you do this, but if you've got a feel for it, you're okay. But really, really rigid construction there. That's awesome. Good to see. Perfect. Really nice. Huge surfaces, of course. So that is our elevator. All right, so here's the vertical or the rudder. And this is a great contrast on this aircraft. So it goes with all of the red very nicely, so absolutely awesome. Normal Skymaster stuff, carbon rods, all that kind of stuff is all the norm. And just a point of note here, it looks like this will be operated with an arm coming out of the fuselage. And a lot like the F-18 rudders, and that slips into here, so there's no there's no servo sitting in the surface specifically. So I really enjoy this way that Skymaster does this. I think it works really well. All right, guys, so now that we've gotten the first kind of layer of stuff off, everything we've opened so far, this is what it looks like underneath. So basically we've got the fuselage in two parts, so one part, two parts, and those are both huge, huge surfaces. I mean, the fuselage alone is the main part is massive. And then we've got another wing over there too. All right, so second wing looks good, just like the other one. This is the left wing. So everything looks good here. It's nice to see carf lining up the paint lines, the rivet lines, things like that. We have built some F-18s in the past where the rivets don't line up. So, you know, a door like this as an example, you'd have just random rivet lines and there was no rhyme or reason to it. It's not like they took this from the other wing and mixed it up. So it's nice to see these rivets actually line up, which is good. Again, we've got the filled in red light here, so we're going to have to deal with this and make our own lighting setup. But the rest of it looks nice and typical. All right, so we've got the front part of the fuselage out of the big box, and we will take all the bubble wrap off. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got our cockpits inside, and Skymaster did a great job here actually supporting these cockpits. So they put a bunch of foam pieces inside holding these things in, which is really nice to see. So we'll pop these guys all out. So big cockpits in this plane because it is a 1 to 3.5 scale, I think. And yeah, pretty monstrous size. Don't really know how they got these pieces in here, but obviously if they got them in, they should come out. Just like that. So very, very big cockpits. Nice detail on this as well too. More than you generally see on the smaller ones from Skymaster. And same materials and everything, so you just got to be careful with these, but it seems like because of the bigger size, it does lend itself to be a little bit stronger overall. At least that's the way it feels initially. So that's the back one, I believe. Yeah, and this is the front one. Awesome. So same thing. Obviously, we've got the extension on the front, but looks good. Nice, Skymaster. This is probably the best condition cockpit I've ever seen come from them. Usually they're already cracked or damaged in some form, and these ones are doing pretty good. All right, guys, so here's a shot of the front part of the fuselage with the cockpits out. So I just dropped the gear down. Now the gear has a lock, so in order to put the gear back up, you can't just take the gear and move it back up. You actually need to have pressure on the downside before you put pressure in the upside. So that's a Skymaster thing. It's awesome, but really nice gear on this thing. Look at the size of that. It's just monstrous. So everything looks good. The canopy lock here, initially it wasn't moving, so I took a pair of pliers and I undid all of the little nuts here holding the canopy lock in place, and I just undid them about 1/8 of a turn. Anyway, so now the canopy lock system works, so we can just do this simply with a servo and have that activate the lock, which is great. So that is a nice, simple system. And there's a shot for you down the fuselage. So it looks good, all typical Skymaster stuff. It looks like we've got the pre-made plate locations already installed, and we should have plenty of room in this thing for equipment trays. Obviously, we have to keep the cockpits in mind as well too, but we should have a decent amount of room here between the bottom of the fuselage and the bottom of the cockpits. All right, guys, and we got the main part of the fuselage, or the rear part of the fuselage, up on the table. Just undid the tape, and there we go. Wow. So this is actually a 3-piece fuselage. I didn't know that. So you've got the rear piece, the mid piece, and then the front piece. That is absolutely huge. All right, so I'm gonna pop the hatch off here. There we go. And that gives us access to all of our other little parts that are floating around in here. So I'm gonna yank all these parts out first. I see a pipe in there and things like that. So we'll yank that stuff out. And then we will take a look at this further. All right, guys, we'll just go over some of the details of this main part of the fuselage here. Very, very impressive. So I think the fuel tank goes in this area here, I believe. That would kind of make sense. So this is the structure that's going to support the fuel tank. So nice big hatch area here to allow access to the turbine. And of course, we'll probably do a startup tray and stuff in this area, which is going to be, you know, where all of your things to run the aircraft are going to be right in this area, just so this is the only hatch you have to take off. So good design there. And the other thing I really like about this aircraft, and kudos to Skymaster for doing this, is the tail section separates. Now I'm not exactly sure how the pipe would work out, because I think the pipe's going to be mounted somewhere here. So I don't know. I don't think it's as easily separatable as something like the Carf Meg over there. All right, so the way this works is obviously the back half separates. You've got 4 carbon tubes that all line up to the joiners there, or the clamps, and you basically tighten up your Allen key to hold that in place. So nice setup. The vertical stab goes on really nice. There's this fairing piece that you would install first over top of the whole horizontal stab section. But really nice, huge aircraft. Very, very sizable. Oh yeah, other thing that is really nice that Skymaster did here is you can see the bump outs, which are very visible on the full scale. So nice detail right there. Skymaster, well done. So we've got our pipe here as well. The bell mouth is not fastened, that came separate, but nice thick quality pipe. It's a 4-inch diameter, so 100 millimeters, big bell mouth. So this is a well-suited pipe for the 300 that we're going to be putting in this aircraft. We've got our wing tube here, which is big, thick aluminum. This looks like the same size as the A10. So that's that section. And then we've got all of our other bits and bytes here. So all this stuff was in one package. So these are all of our little finishing touches and fairings and things like that. So here's our canopy lock stuff. So it looks like they want you to put the servo mount on there and make the lock a servo mount or servo operated lock. and then the actual canopy should be air, but we're going to do probably an electronic actuator on the canopy as well. And I'm happy that they included this, the nose cone light thing. I was kind of worried going through the package that that wouldn't be in there. So, but that's in there. And the other thing that I'm happy to see is the pointy thing for the nose. I'm not putting a whole lot of thought today in my terminology, but this is all the other parts bags. So normal Skymaster air stuff, fuel bungs, we don't use any of that stuff. So, and then we've got all of our standard hardware and things like that. Center tank over there, we're just going to leave that wrapped up, but that is the center tank. And it looks like we've already got everything keyholed here in the main fuselage for the center tank, so that's nice to have that quickly removable. Otherwise, transporting it on the belly is not possible. All right, so next thing I want to do is I want to kind of get the fuselage put together, just loosely bolted into place, and I want to get it sitting beside the CARF MiG-17 just for comparison. The owner of this, David, he's got both aircraft as well. The one that's here is not his. His is at home, but or back home being built. But this one is his, and we both want to see these things compared to each other. I think the length of it is going to be almost identical, but this one has quite a bit more height on the fuselage as well. So let's get this fuselage kind of loosely put together, and we'll put these two beside each other and see how they look. All right, guys, and there is a shot of the Hawk and the MiG side by side. So I've got those noses lined up right now. The Hawk, we're not including the pitot tube and that kind of stuff off the front. So overall length, they're virtually the same. Obviously the Hawk fuselage is longer. The MiG fuselage, I guess, technically ends here, and then you've got the vertical that extends back further. But they're almost exactly the same length aircraft. The Hawk is just that much bigger on the fuselage. Like, we're almost lined up here with the holders that CARF supplies, and it's crazy the difference. So there's a level shot right there, and there's a shot from the front. Pretty crazy. All right, guys, well, that is the unboxing of the Skymaster Hawk XXL Hawk aircraft. It's pretty crazy to think that it wasn't too many years ago that this was as big as they get, and now we've got some even bigger aircraft coming out. These things are nuts. Super cool to be able to unbox this thing and also to build this thing. So we've got a couple things that we're waiting for this aircraft. We do have the pilots already here. We've got a Swewin 300 Newton Special Edition engine en route. That's going to be David's first Swewin engine, so he's going to love that thing. Operates like a dream. And in a couple weeks, we'll have the parts order shipped out. The parts order is like all the servos and the jetty system and all that kind of stuff that's going in the aircraft. So we've got that coming as well too. So we're going to pop this thing on the shelf where the CARF MiG was, and we're going to get started on it not too soon. So don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you guys liked it. If you're not a subscriber, Nez thinks you should be, so feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell if you want to get notified when I release new videos. Feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions or comments or anything like that. You can also list your comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Nez, hey. This is what happens when you have a cat in the shop.